Okay, we're going to get ready to get started. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the GoBiz Oversight Hearing of March 15, 2016. We do have a very tight agenda here and want to get through every section and give everyone an opportunity to chime in on this very important discussion. So good morning. Thank you for attending this informational hearing being held by the Assembly Committee on Jobs, Economic Development, and the Economy. I am Assembly Member Eduardo Garcia, and I serve as the committee chair. With me this morning are a couple members of our committee, but I'd like to start to my far left and welcome the newest member of our committee, Assembly Member Ashajan, and then I'll allow the Vice Chairwoman to say a few words along with other members very briefly in a few minutes. With us is Tony Simons, the Chief Consultant, Matthew Hurley, our Secretary, Julia King, also our Principal Consultant for the committee. So let me start by just kind of framing, why we are here. Members, today we will hear from the Governor's Office of Business, Economic Development, more commonly referred to as GoBiz. This will be the first comprehensive review of GoBiz since it was codified in 2011. In moving forward on this program review, we have sought to design a process that encourages collaboration between the administration, the legislature, and the public. This hearing is but one part of a larger set of actions the committee has taken to prepare this meta-level view of GoBiz programs. To the extent necessary, the committee will also hold subsequent hearings that look more closely at selected programs and elements of key economic development policies. Collectively, these actions are designed to further legislature's efforts to support the creation of economic development and an environment that provides opportunities for economic advancement for all Californians. As members, we will see from their testimony, GoBiz is comprised of a dedicated set of staff who consistently seek to develop new programs, build more robust online applications, and fill gaps in economic development program delivery. Given their record of hard work, a significant part of the committee's focus will be on whether their tools and resources are being used to address the state's most pressing economic development challenges and opportunities. Today's hearing is organized around three policy themes: small business assistance, international trade, and general business assistance. The director of GoBiz has been invited to give opening remarks, which will then be followed by three 40-minute panels, each addressing one of the four themes. At the start of the panel, GoBiz will provide a brief overview of the program area, which will be followed by a 2-minute introduction by each of our stakeholder panelists. The committee goal is to spend half of the 40-minute panel hearings in formal presentations and the other half engaging with GoBiz and our stakeholders. The committee recognizes today's short time frame, and as noted earlier, we are prepared to request subsequent hearings to receive additional information and allow for greater stakeholder input. Our plan is to offer no formal recommendations at this hearing. We would rather allow time for GoBiz to engage with the committee on the recommendations. To further the collaborative nature of this hearing, we have organized the background materials as program workbooks, suggesting a longer-term commitment to these important discussions. These workbooks have been developed by staff to provide a common basis for reviewing the programs and services of GoBiz. Over the course of this and subsequent hearings, we expect that the content of the workbook will be updated to reflect the new information. A couple housekeeping comments. Copies of the committee background and materials on the wall outside and can also be found on the committee's website. For those who are here in the audience that wish to speak, we will have a public comment period. Agenda item 6. If you wish to speak, please sign up on the registration sheet on the sergeant's desk. The committee will also be accepting written public comments regarding this hearing, our upcoming oversight hearing, until close of business on Thursday, April 21st. At this time, are there any members who would like to make a few comments at this time?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is this better? Can you turn? Is that better? Thank you. Welcome, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today to examine GoBiz operations this morning. I believe GoBiz has a lot to offer, and it promises to be the portrait of change in the way California is perceived as a place to do business and to grow businesses. We are the 8th largest economy, and it's a lot of work to maintain our global position, let alone advance it. We need a leader and problem solver to spearhead the economic development engine. And today, we're taking a much-needed look into the outcomes of a largely unchecked organization. I'm particularly interested in the discussion on international trade and foreign investment. There are a lot of great reasons to do business here in California, and one of those is our strategic position along the Pacific Rim. In my district, the city of Fullerton has a direct relationship with KOTRA, which is the Korean Trade Promotion Corporation, and they have done a fabulous job of bringing in foreign investment. And in fact, one Korean corporation, which has already had its manufacturing facility for several years, it just opened up its research and development facility just this month. And they have plans to expand their presence even more. These are high-paying, high-quality jobs that are coming to our state, and I look forward to hearing how GoBiz can help other cities see similar results. So I sincerely want to thank the GoBiz office for your small business assistance, and I've been able to refer some of my constituents to GoBiz for questions and the capital infusion that they were looking for. So I want to really take this opportunity to thank you for your rapid response and problem-solving abilities. You are a resource, very useful resource, and in my personal experience, has been valuable from a constituent services aspect and from the business standpoint as well. So thank you. And I look forward to engaging in our dialogue and look forward to hearing your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Welcome, Assemblymember Shajan. Would you like to say a few words before we get started?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just looking forward to our first hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. To my right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to reserve my comments at a later time.
Thank you. All right. We'll get into the item agenda number 2. At this time, I would like to invite the State Director of Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development to come to the podium and prepare to address the committee. Members, our first speaker is Panara Avdis, who leads the Governor's Office of Economic Development. Prior to her most recent appointment, Director Avdis served as a Chief Deputy Director for GoBiz, as well as serving as Chief of Staff in the Office of Sacramento County Supervisor Phil Cerna, Director of External Affairs at the California Department of Housing and Community Development under the Schwarzenegger administration, and Special Assistant to Governor Davis. Director she has private sector experience as a project manager, and so at this time we'd like to welcome her, and feel free to begin your comments. Good morning.
So I invited a couple of, or a few of my team members who are part of the first panel to join me here. So good morning, Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and committee members. My name is Panara Avdis, and I'm the Director of the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development. So I'm pleased to be here this morning with my leadership team to share more information on the programs and services we provide and answer any questions you may have. So for my remarks this morning, I'd like to provide you with a brief overview of our organization and point to just a few of the significant successes we've had the past few years. So as you all know, with the dissolution of the State Trade and Commerce Agency back in 2003, there wasn't a single point of contact for economic development activities. While the state had several economic development programs and offered a variety of services, they were scattered throughout various state agencies and departments. There wasn't a broad coordination of policy and program activity. GoBiz was created to serve as the statewide single point of contact for business and economic development. When GoBiz was codified in October of 2012, California's unemployment rate stood at 12.2%. The state had a significant fiscal deficit, and our state credit rating was at a national low. Somewhere in the financial crisis, as a state, we seem to have forgotten that California is a place of innovation, dreams, entrepreneurs, and where amazing new things are created every day. Now let's fast forward to today. According to the March 2016 Employment Development Department labor statistics release, California's unemployment rate is at 5.7%. Since the global economic recovery began in February of 2010, California has added over 2 million jobs. In 2015 alone, California added over 440,000 jobs, more than the next two largest growth states combined. During that time, we've taken significant steps to bring back the film industry to California, become the natural fit for the auto industry, protect our leadership position in aerospace, supported our bio and other emerging life science industries, and remain the leader in innovation and technology. We've done all of this while taking steps to further protect our environment and state's natural resources. We've made believers of those who previously doubted us. The news media, which once only covered trips from other state elected officials to California to poach our businesses, are now covering stories about the new frontier of the auto industry, the return of productions like American Horror Story, Scream Queens, and Veep that came back to the state from other states to California production studios, and how California is not just a good place to do business, but the place to do business. Since our authorizing legislation, GoBiz has been on a steady trajectory in terms of engagement on major economic development policy changes and our ability to provide assistance to individual businesses and really provide the support to our local partners to succeed. We're a very young organization. We initially measured success by the number of functions we attended, workshops we held, and essentially the number of businesses we touched. We continue to evolve and grow with the help of our partners, but we've still had several significant successes, and I'd like to take a few moments just to point out of these few successes. The implementation of the Governor's Economic Development Initiative, which includes the California Competes Tax Credit Program, which is housed at GoBiz, and you'll be hearing more about that from Will Cook here to my left. The implementation of the new film tax credit, and several production companies that are coming back to California as a result. The opening of the California-China Trade Office, the state's first trade office since the dissolution of Trade and Commerce. The launch of the California Business Portal, which includes several self-help services for businesses and entrepreneurs. The over 12,650 individual business clients receiving some form of assistance from GoBiz the first 3 quarters of 2015. And the California designation as a national network for Manufacturing Innovation Institute for flexible hybrid electronics. I'm proud to be a part of a small group of hardworking professionals who care very deeply about the work we do with our local partners in improving California's economy. Even though statewide unemployment has recovered, as you all know, there are many regions in this state that still have significant struggles with job creation, infrastructure, and business development. GoBiz has always been and will continue to be committed to serving all of California and to do whatever we can to encourage economic development activities in areas of need. It is important to highlight how much GoBiz values and depends on our local partners throughout the state. Successful economic development in California requires the involvement of multiple partners working together. Economic development is truly a locally driven activity, which is why nearly every city and county has designated economic development staff. Recognizing the importance and value of regional economies and regional collaboration, nearly every local jurisdiction in the state is a member of a regional economic development organization. These organizations provide economic development services, particularly business attraction, expansion, and retention. Local chambers of commerce, workforce investment boards, the small business development centers also provide services at the local and regional level. At the state level, the California Association of Local Economic Development, also known as CalEd, serves as the practitioner association for economic developers. Team California serves as a statewide marketing organization for California communities and regions, providing access to national and international trade shows and events. And the state chambers provide advocacy opportunities at the state policy level. At GoBiz, we work hard to build collaborative relationships with all of these organizations and recognize that the best way to share information about our programs and services is by educating these organizations that have the most contact with the business community directly. While these partners are critical in providing the day-to-day services many businesses need, we at GoBiz also have a unique opportunity and ability to provide business on a one-on-one the ability to serve businesses on a one-on-one basis, to help them gain access to information tools and resources and other state entity or partners. For example, the manufacturer who has hit a roadblock with the state permitting entity, the aspiring chef entrepreneur who wants to start a food truck operation and uses our Quick Start Guide to get going, and then through using the California Business Portal gets connected to an SBDC who uses their services to become credit ready and apply for a loan and purchase their first truck. To a large corporation looking to move or expand in California that needs a single point of contact for site selection and incentive identification. To the multi-member collaborative team of research institutions, businesses, and public partners who need state support to apply for a new federal advanced technology grant program. GoBiz has a unique and important role in helping stakeholders be successful, and we do so every day. In addition to the specialized business assistance we provide, we also engage with our partners from other state agencies and departments on economic development policy in several areas, a few that I would like to touch on now. First is sustainable freight. As you know, the governor signed the executive order last year calling on several state agencies in close consultation with industry to develop a sustainable freight action plan. The action plan is due to the governor in mid-July, and the draft document should be available at the end of April. Specifically, GoBiz is charged and has been working with the private sector stakeholders on the competitiveness of freight in California as we move towards a more sustainable system. GoBiz has attended all action plan related meetings, hearings, and workshops, and we convened several stakeholder groups. We plan on continuing collaborating with the private freight stakeholders and analyzing the economic impacts of the proposed action with the action plan on the freight industry. We plan on developing language to go into the draft action plan for economic development and working with our partners at the California Workforce Investment Board in developing the language for workforce development. And we plan on coordinating the review of the draft action plan by private industry, our economic development partners statewide, and the Peter Drucker School of Management housed at Claremont University. I think GoBiz's role in sustainable freight really serves as a great example of how GoBiz interacts at the policy level to ensure that state actions consider economic impacts, that the business community is engaged and at the table when policy discussions are taking place, and where appropriate, offering solutions and alternatives to minimize the potential for negative economic impacts while still achieving the intended policy goals. Similar to sustainable freight, our zero-emission vehicle infrastructure group continues to play a pivotal role in the development of our state's ZEV market. We have worked closely with stakeholders to cut station development timelines in half, facilitated the establishment of a process to open the first retail network of hydrogen stations in the world, and unlock millions of dollars of foreign direct investment into our charging network. This work focuses on building stakeholder confidence in the economic framework necessary to establish a sustainable ZEV market that will support high-paying, clean technology jobs. Second, I'd like to touch on our growing efforts around workforce development. In 2015, GoBiz participated in state workforce development activities in order to create better alignment between employer workforce needs and workforce training programs. Collaboration between economic and workforce development entities ensures that California businesses have access to skilled employees. This coordination also provides Californians with more opportunities to pursue career pathway education and training programs. California is a leader in many technology-driven industries with unique workforce needs, including advanced manufacturing, information technology, biotechnology, agricultural technology, and aerospace. GoBiz and other state partners are working to reinforce California's leadership position in these industries by aligning workforce development programs with employer needs. One formal mechanism for creating this alignment is the California Workforce Development Plan. California's Workforce Development Plan identifies GoBiz as a key partner that can communicate business needs to California's robust training and workforce development programs. The California Workforce Investment Board wrote the draft for this unified strategic workforce development plan in 2015 in partnership with key education, workforce development, and business partners. This plan lays out multiple responsibilities for GoBiz, and many of these duties will be carried out in conjunction with regional partner organizations. These regional partners are included, but are not limited to, the EDCs, the SBDCs, and the regional iHubs. GoBiz will connect employers to regional partners that can provide technical assistance designed to proactively address different industry skills gaps. These entities have unique knowledge of the state's emerging sectors, as well as an understanding of how state and local incentive programs are encouraging the growth in these sectors. GoBiz and these regional economic development partners can therefore provide local workforce development boards with critical information on employer trends in emerging and established industry sectors. By formalizing this relationship between GoBiz and the California Workforce Investment Board, the State Workforce Development Plan provides a framework that will allow GoBiz to communicate employer needs and incorporate employer feedback to various local, regional, and statewide workforce development partnerships. Finally, you will hear more about this later today, that GoBiz has engaged in both regulatory review for major regulations and significant business process improvement transformations with other departments to improve state permitting, licensing, and business processes. To conclude, in a short period of time, I believe GoBiz has made a significant difference on improving California's economy, not because of what we've done on our own, but what we've been able to accomplish with our partners and stakeholders across the state. For the next several panels, I've invited members of my GoBiz team who are responsible for implementing the programs the committee seeks to review, to provide additional information and answer any questions you may have. I'm sure that you will hear the passion and dedication that each of them have, not only to public service, but helping the business community succeed. Also, as you can tell, there seems to be a really good turnout from our economic development community here today, and thank you very much for being here. I'm sure several of them are interested in providing public testimony. I hope that today's hearing provides a better picture for each of you of what GoBiz does to make a difference in California's economy, and I look forward to continuing to work with each of you on specific opportunities to move the economic needle in your respective communities and statewide. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your opening comments. Are there any questions for our director at this time? Seeing none? Thank you again. We'll jump into agenda item 3. Would you like to introduce the team that's here with you?
Yes.
All right.
Would you like to go first, or would you like Ceci to go first?
Good morning, Chairman Garcia. Good morning, Chairman Garcia, members of the committee. My name is Jesse Torres, and I am proud to serve as the state's small business advocate within GoBiz. Previously, I served as the regional director for the Los Angeles Small Business Development Center Network, the largest federally funded SBDC network in California. Mm-hmm. And today I'm going to be talking really briefly about an overview of the Office of Small Business Advocate and some of our core initiatives that I thought would be of interest to the committee. So the Office of Small Business Advocate has 4 primary focus areas in line with statute. These areas include advocacy, information gathering, dissemination, agency coordination, and business assistance. And I know in the workbook that it goes into significant depth on those areas, so I'll just mention those for now. But let me jump into the capital infusion program because I know that's the probably the core assistance program that we'd like to discuss.
If I could just interrupt you real quick, I wanted to see if you would introduce everyone up here. I'm going to bring up our stakeholders also so that we can have a good collaborative dialogue here based on what you'll be presenting as well as some of the input. So if you could just kind of introduce everyone that's up there with us, that would be appreciative.
Absolutely. So to my left here, I have Will Cook, who's the Chief Deputy Director of GoBiz. To my right, I have Tavia Barnes, who's the Executive Director of iBank. I have Jesse Torres, who's our Small Business Advocate and Deputy Director over our Small Business Team. And then I have Andrew Stromfels here, who's our Deputy Director for Legislation and Intergovernmental Affairs. And we would also like to invite a couple of the FDCs up to join us as well to participate in this conversation.
All right. So we do have some members of our small business panel approaching the podium or the desk here. As noted earlier, GoBiz will briefly outline their business program services, which will be followed by introductory remarks from several stakeholder groups, including the Black Chamber of Commerce, the California Association of Microenterprise Opportunity, Small Business Financial Development Corporations. We've asked these groups to join us today to help enhance the dialogue and provide a broader context for the discussion. Before we begin, let me express the committee's appreciation for the stakeholder representation that is here today. Relative to our briefing materials, this agenda item is linked to Workbook 4 on the Small Business Finance Center and Workbook 8, Office of the Small Business Advocate. Let us begin with our presentations from GoBiz, which will include Tavia Barnes, Executive Director of the iBank, as well as Jesse Torres, who has introduced himself, and assisting them with the presentations will be Carl Zalakowski, President of the California Coastal Rural Development Corporation, and Mark Robertson, the President Pacific Coast Regional Small Business Development Corporation. I know we've got a big group up there, but there's, I think, a lot to cover, and in this manner, I think we may be able to get some good collaborative dialogue going back and forth. So thank you, and let us begin.
Absolutely. So again, let me dive into our capital infusion program, which is our core business assistance program that we oversee at the Office of Small Business Advocate. So the capital infusion program, for many small businesses in our state, gaining access to capital is a significant barrier to their growth. Over the past few years, this issue has been captured and raised in various reports by the U.S. Small Business Administration, FDIC, and the Federal Reserve, and by many different small business stakeholders throughout California. I know many of the folks here at this table have definitely dived into the capital access issue. In response to the access to capital issue, GoBiz requested and was provided with $2 million in state general funds to launch the capital infusion program in fiscal year 2014-2015. The capital infusion program enables the California Small Business Development Center Network, the largest technical assistance program for small businesses, to expand their one-to-one, no-cost confidential consulting to small business owners to help them obtain loans, investor capital, understand and resolve their credit readiness issues, and develop funding strategies for business expansion or startup. Funding for the program is authorized as part of the 2014-2015 state budget and was renewed again for the 2015-2016 budget. Each $2 million allocation is matched one-to-one by the U.S. Small Business Administration, which is the principal funder for the California SBDC network. The way the program works is the competitive application process. It's a performance-based program that requires the participating small business development centers to match the dollars with federal funds and to achieve metrics in the following categories: total capital infusion, total clients consulted, and total clients receiving capital, in addition to total consulting hours. Outcome reports and invoices are given to us on a quarterly basis from the 6 SBDC regional networks. Our state dollars can only be used for business consulting, while at minimum 60% of the SBA funds that are being used as match can be used for consulting. In the first year of the program, 34 individual SBDCs received funding, and in the second year, 41 centers received funding. In year one, the capital infusion program resulted in $202,645,465 in documented capital infusion and served 10,053 small business owners. As of December 31st, 2015, the end of the second quarter of year two, the capital infusion program has resulted in $92,417,611 generated in capital infusion and has served 2,851 small businesses. In year one, more than 68% of that capital infusion, of that $200 million, was in the form of non-owner equity, such as private investment and venture capital. 19.78% was in the form of non-SBA loans, and then just under 12% was in the form of SBA loans. To give you a sense of some of the clients that were served through the program, for example, in Paris, California, you had a company called It's a Mixed Thing that develops hair products. The company needed assistance with access to capital to start producing and distributing her hairline product. The client received a $150,000 SBA loan through Celtic Bank and through the work of the Inland Empire SBDC. Alberto Gradius in Imperial Valley sought assistance from the Imperial Valley SBDC to purchase a 15-year-old commercial landscaping company. With the help of the Imperial Valley SBDC, the owner secured a $175,000 7A loan and a $75,000 line of credit from Community Valley Bank, and also invested $25,000 of his own money into the business. And then just another brief example, Clear Vista, which is an ophthalmic products company in Aliso Viejo, which is served by the Launchpad SBDC. That company received $14.5 million in Series B funding to advance their product line for eye surgeon. So as you can see, the client mix of the SBDC network is very diverse, and primarily because of, one, the breadth of the reach, that many different locations across the state, and their centers have to be designed to serve, really whoever comes to the door. But it's important to note that, the SBDCs really have to toe the line. The expectation from them, from the SBA, to hit metrics and capital infusion are extremely robust. And so they have to both develop sophisticated programs, but also have programs that are able to meet the needs of many different kinds of small businesses that are in their area. It's been a pleasure to work with Kristen Johnson, who's here as the chair of the California SBDC on the program, and to work with her to overcome some of the hurdles of the program that comes with any new grant program, such as pushing centers to spend on the money and the fast-paced timeline that we have, and working with them to overcome challenges in launching new programs, et cetera. I also wanted to touch briefly upon the California Business Portal, since I know that's part of the agenda for today. In July 2015, GoBiz launched the new California Business Portal, which can be visited at businessportal.ca.gov. It's designed to be a one-stop shop website for small business owners, which includes things such as quick start guides for business types, a California Business Navigator, which provides customized information on permits, licenses, and incentives, a service desk so people can get answers to commonly asked questions and submit questions that maybe aren't on the website just yet, a business mapping tool so that companies can know what are the business assistance programs and workforce development organizations and the resource partners in their area. This was a joint effort. Our IT chief, Tom Boone, worked with the IT Leadership Academy through the Department of Technology to put this great portal together using existing resources. They worked together for 6 months. Is also definitely a partnership amongst various state agencies who are providing content to keep the site robust and updated. To date, we've had 4,751 users and over 8,000 page views since its launch, and 2,400 cases resolved since July 1st, 2015, since this launch. And then very quickly, just want to mention we also oversee the Made in California program out of our office. Currently, since the initial public comment period when we launched we introduced the program, we have deemed it necessary to adopt a new section to address the requirement of a new annual fee for licenses to the program and in the corresponding changes to the statute. Because this new subject matter is new, we have opened up to a new 45-day public comment period that commenced on March 4, 2016, and is currently underway. All the revised regulatory documents have been published on the GoBiz website in the Office of the Small Business Advocates section. And then finally, I just want to mention really briefly on our small business outreach approach. Our office, which is a very small office, we have 2 members based here in Sacramento and then 1 person with me down in Los Angeles. We pride ourselves on being accessible to the community and to being of service to our small businesses across the state. The way we do outreach is things such as conducting small business forums across the state with members of the Assembly and the Senate. We look to do at least 40 small business forums this year. We're going to be completing our GoBiz Summit series, conducting 2 large events in Los Angeles and Sacramento to round out the year. We've already completed 2, one in San Francisco and one in Clovis. We also conduct small business stakeholder roundtables throughout the state. I want to thank Tony Simons, the chief consultant for the JEDI committee, for her support in helping to relaunch this group. And we've been taking on the road. It's been a great opportunity to work with very different kinds of stakeholders across the state. And then we're also working closely with the Governor's Office of Emergency Services to conduct both in-person workshops and webinars on business continuity and emergency preparedness to help small business owners understand what to do in the event of disaster. And then we'll continue to grow our email distribution list and work with other state agencies to help them get the good word out about their programs that serve small business. So we're proud to do the work that we do. Our team is very dedicated, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Torres. It's quite obvious that you're working on a lot of things. We appreciate you sharing that with us. We're going to move on to Tavia Barnes with the California Infrastructure Finance.
Good morning. I am Tavia Barnes, the Executive Director of the